Hello, fellow NASA representatives. Today, we are going to be discussing a mysterious object heading towards Earth. This object, which is being called Unnamed Object 57, is heading towards Earth at a high rate of speed. This is alarming since it seems to be following Earth's orbit. Unlike an asteroid, it is chasing the Earth. What's more is that it seems to be completely made of fire or flames. This has never been seen before. We need to prepare in case this object hits Earth. We have already alerted the United States government. Start issuing messages to the public immediately.
This is a message by NASA and the United States government. This is not a test. A few days ago, an unknown object was seen heading towards Earth at high speeds. This object, however, is not an asteroid or any other known space object. It is completely made of fire, and doesn't appear to have any physical body. It is chasing the Earth, which is unheard of. Due to this, you might want to take the following precautions. Stay alert. Follow official news. Do not trust unofficial sources or rumors. Stay safe. The object is expected to hit North America in the coming days. Please prepare for impact by stocking up on food and supplies, making sure a bunker or secure place is near you, and tell any children of what is going on in a non-alarming way. Thank you for listening to this message. Updates will follow. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit the following message. This message is being issued jointly by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and the United States government. 3 days ago, NASA detected an extraterrestrial object now designated Unnamed Object 57, originally thought to be a small asteroid. The object has since entered a sustained orbit around the planet. Unlike a natural satellite, Object 57 is demonstrating controlled movement. Its orbit has stabilized at approximately 200 kilometers above the Earth's surface, completing one revolution every 90 minutes. At 10:43 a.m. Eastern Time today, the object emitted a massive burst of thermal radiation, resulting in intense atmospheric heating over parts of the western United States and Canada. Witnesses described the event as a sky flash followed by several smaller luminous fragments descending toward the surface.
These fragments are confirmed to be high-temperature projectiles, essentially smaller fireballs, launched from the primary object. Impact sites have been recorded in Nevada, Arizona, northern Mexico, and southern British Columbia. Wildfires are spreading rapidly across affected regions. Satellite data indicates surface temperatures exceeding 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit near points of impact. Residents within 1,000 miles of the affected areas are advised to remain indoors. Avoid windows and do not attempt to record the object. Heat signatures have shown to intensify when observed directly, suggesting the object may respond to electronic surveillance or light detection. Repeating, do not attempt to observe the object.
Object 57 is no longer following predictable orbital physics. It appears to adjust its trajectory in reaction to terrestrial signals, particularly radio frequencies and radar pings. For this reason, all non-essential communications are to be temporarily ceased until further notice. Internet and broadcast interruptions may occur as power grids are reduced to prevent detection. The United States, Canada, and Mexico are now operating under North American Defense Directive Alpha Red. NASA and the United States Space Command are continuing analysis to determine if the object is of artificial origin.
The President will address the nation shortly. Until then, all residents across North America are advised to remain indoors. Disconnect unnecessary electronic devices. Prepare emergency supplies for potential long-term power loss. Monitor official emergency frequencies only. Do not approach or investigate any newly formed craters or heat zones. Further instructions will follow. This concludes this emergency action notification. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit the following message. Unnamed Object 57 has begun targeted FireBall deployments across North America. Multiple high-temperature projectiles have struck urban and rural regions. Initial confirmed impact zones include Los Angeles, CA, Phoenix, AZ, Denver, CO, Dallas, TX, Toronto, ON. Casualties are unconfirmed at this time, but authorities report widespread destruction and ongoing fires. Emergency services are unable to respond safely to these areas. Object 57 is displaying intentional behavior. Its trajectory is now independent of natural orbital mechanics and appears to seek out high-density population centers. Smaller fireballs are being projected in rapid succession, with intervals as short as 3 minutes per launch cycle. Residents are strongly advised to remain inside reinforced structures, avoid windows, and shelter in basements or interior rooms. Do not use electronic devices unless absolutely necessary, as emissions may attract further fireball activity. NORAD and the United States Space Command are coordinating defensive measures. All airspace over North America is closed. Military interception attempts are currently unsuccessful. Civilian evacuation efforts are ongoing where possible, but travel is extremely hazardous. Individuals in the eastern and central United States are advised to prepare for imminent fireball strikes. Repeating, do not attempt evacuation unless instructed by local emergency management authorities. Residents should immediately follow these safety procedures. Seek shelter in interior rooms with no windows. Stock water, non-perishable food, and first aid supplies. Avoid any outdoor activity, even brief exposure may be fatal. Monitor only official government channels for updates. Expect intermittent power outages and communication disruptions. Object 57 continues to orbit Earth, completing one revolution approximately every 90 minutes. Impact zones will expand as the object adjusts its trajectory. This concludes this emergency action notification. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit the following message. Unnamed Object 57 has now entered a low orbit over North America. Its trajectory is actively targeting major urban centers and infrastructure hubs. Satellite imagery confirms multiple simultaneous fireball impacts across the continental United States, Canada, and Mexico. Areas impacted include, but are not limited to, Los Angeles, CA, San Francisco, CA, Phoenix, AZ, Denver, CO, Dallas, TX, Chicago, IL, New York, NY, Toronto, ON, Mexico City, MX. Casualties are currently unconfirmed. Emergency services are unable to safely respond, and widespread fires and structural collapses are occurring. Object 57 is actively adjusting its orbit to maximize damage and avoid interception attempts. Thermal and kinetic energy emissions are intensifying. Observations indicate the object is capable of detecting human activity, and smaller fireballs are being launched preferentially at high population areas and electronic signals. Repeating, do not attempt evacuation unless directed. Remain indoors and minimize all electronic emissions. All North American airspace remains closed. NORAD and Space Command have deployed missile intercepts and directed energy weapons, but Object 57 is evading all countermeasures. Ground-based evacuation is extremely hazardous. Travel is prohibited unless authorized by emergency management authorities. All non-essential personnel must remain inside reinforced shelters and await further instructions. Residents should immediately follow these safety measures. Move to interior rooms with no windows, basements preferred. Stock water, food, and first aid supplies. Disconnect electronic devices and radios not used for official communications. Avoid observing the object. Visual contact may trigger unpredictable behavior. Prepare for prolonged power outages, communications disruptions, and fires in surrounding areas. Object 57 continues continuous orbital passes every 90 minutes. Impact zones will expand with each revolution. This is a live, ongoing event. This concludes this emergency action notification. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit the following message. Unnamed Object 57 has initiated a final orbital assault across North America. Thermal, kinetic, and electromagnetic signatures indicate total infrastructure failure is imminent in multiple regions simultaneously. All residents are instructed to seek reinforced underground shelter immediately. Avoid all electronic devices not required for official communication. Expect total power outages, widespread fires, and structural collapse. Avoid all roads. Emergency vehicles may be non-operational. Object 57 is now exhibiting intentional targeting patterns, including major population centers, energy grids, dams, and industrial complexes. Object 57 is no longer passive. Its orbit has decayed slightly, and direct strikes into the lower atmosphere are occurring. Thermal energy releases exceed 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit at impact sites. Atmospheric shock waves are producing earthquakes, fires, and severe wind shear across affected regions. Observations confirm that Object 57 reacts to human activity, including signals and movement. Direct observation or recording may trigger additional FireBall bursts. Repeating, do not attempt to observe or record the object. All defensive operations have failed to intercept Object 57. NORAD and Space Command report multiple simultaneous strikes on the U.S. East Coast, Gulf Coast, Midwest, and Canadian territories. Evacuation is now impossible in affected areas. Civilian survival depends solely on reinforced underground shelter and strict adherence to emergency procedures. Residents are advised to descend immediately to the lowest safe point in your location. Block all doors and windows, and cover vents where possible. Maintain minimal contact with external communications. Prepare for long-term survival. Resources may be unavailable for days or weeks. Object 57 is completing rapid orbital revolutions, striking all regions multiple times. Impact projections indicate total devastation across North America within the next 24 hours. This is a live, ongoing, extinction-level event. Repeating, there is no safe evacuation. Seek shelter immediately. This concludes this emergency action notification.